Good morning, St. Louis. Welcome to another episode of the STL Donut Tour. Today is the highlight video you've all been waiting for. My picks for the best apple fritters around St. Louis. I've eaten over 50 different fritters on the tour so far, and I've had to stop back at a few places for seconds just to make sure. This has been a difficult and delicious list to put together, and I've enjoyed tasting the variety of fritters that St. Louis has to offer. Speaking of variety, I'm starting off the list today with 5 places where you can find unique flavors of fritters other than their amazing apple. And then I'm going to show you my picks for the best apple fritters around St. Louis. This should give you a dozen new fritters to try for the fall. So let's take a closer look at those donuts.
Starting off today, we have a peach fritter from East Town Donuts. Their apple fritter here is amazing, but the peach fritter is even better. It's crunchier on the outside and has the best flavor from the deep rich fry and a beautiful mellow sweetness from big chunks of peaches scattered throughout. That thick sweet glaze brings out the sweetness from the fruit and gives it the most intense crisp crunch that I've had so far. Hands down, this is one of my absolute favorite fritters on the tour. You have to try one of these. Following that, we have a blueberry fritter from the Sweet Spot Café. Served only on the weekends, this beautiful fritter has a gorgeous dark caramelization with some amazing pockets. Those crevices all over are holding onto that thick glaze, giving it a beautifully crisp sugary coating. Just a delectably crunchy sweetness in every bite. If you have the chance to stop in on the weekends, don't miss one of these absolutely stellar blueberry fritters from the Sweet Spot Café. Next up on the list is one of the best places in St. Louis to get any flavor of fritter you like, the Donut Stop. I initially stopped in back in episode 3 looking for cherry fritters and found out they also made blueberry fritters and regularly had specialty flavors like pineapple, cinnamon raisin, and even pumpkin fritters for October. They all have a great unique oblong shape and are fried perfectly golden brown with a thick sugary glaze. Up next is another unique style, the pineapple fritter from Donut Delight. A beautiful rectangular fritter with a gorgeously golden outside and a crisp sugary glaze. The inside is fluffy soft and filled with big chunks of pineapple. Overall, it has a great pineapple flavor and beautifully crisp bite with a soft, fluffy texture. Donut Delight's fritters are truly a delight that you shouldn't miss. And last but not least, we have the Oreo Cookie Fritter from Shamrock Donuts. Stop by on the weekends for special flavors with whatever they feel like making that day. This unique fritter has a deep chocolatey flavor and tastes like a larger version of a fried Oreo. The flavor and texture are amazing, and it is chock full of cookies. You won't be disappointed with any of the fritters from Shamrock Donuts. Following that up with one of my absolute favorite apple fritters from Donut Drive-In. I've been going to Donut Drive-In for years for their fritters and old fashions. The apple fritters here are always beautifully golden brown with a nice thick glaze. They have the perfect texture combination of soft fluffy centers and crisp outer edges. Just solid A+ work every time with amazing flavor, texture, and consistency. After that is another perfect apple fritter from the St. Louis Hills Donut Shop. Golden brown and delicious, this fritter has an amazing texture with a crisp outer coating and soft buttery center. The apples and cinnamon flavors are balanced with a good sweetness from the thick glaze and a nice caramelized flavor. This has such a satisfying crunch to it. If you're going to St. Louis Hills, it would be a crime to skip their apple fritters. Next up is an apple fritter from JMC Donuts. Just look at the size on that. It's absolutely massive. It has a deep, gorgeous caramelization and a super thick glaze. It's also got a soft and chewy inside, surrounded by that nutty, brown, crunchy sweet crust with a crispy glaze. Sweet cinnamon apple flavor and just loaded with apples. This fritter from JMC Donuts is absolutely spectacular. If you're a fritter fanatic like me, then you need to come out and try these. Up next is another nice-sized apple fritter from Baker's Dozen Donuts. Baker's Dozen makes an apple fritter that's got a beautifully caramelized and browned crust and a gorgeous thick sugary glaze. Breaking it open, we find a soft, fluffy center with giant rivers of cinnamon and lots of big chunks of apples. Perfect textures of crisp and chewy meet up with the full buttery flavor of the dough and nicely spiced apples to give us one beautiful fritter. Following that is a fat and fluffy, heavily glazed apple fritter from the Donut Cupboard. This fritter has some beautiful deep pockets filled with glaze and big chunks of apples poking out. The center is soft and fluffy with a good chew, while the outside has a nice crisp crust and thick icing. Overall, this fritter has a rich, buttery flavor with big chunks of apples and an intense sugary sweetness. One of my favorites for sure. After that is a gorgeous apple fritter from Tony's Donuts. It has a deep golden brown caramelization to it, and when we break it open, we see rivers of cinnamon swirls and big thick apple slices. Some places do a puree, some do little chunks. Tony's in Hazelwood does whole slices. The flavor is bursting with apple and cinnamon. The glaze is just perfectly thick and crunchy, giving that soft, delicious center some texture and sweetness. Tony's in Hazelwood has some of the best donuts in St. Louis, so go out and visit them, but don't forget the apple fritter. And last but not least, we have an apple fritter from the Donut Palace. This is just an absolutely perfect fritter. Dare I say the best on the tour. Just look at those perfectly browned and crispy edges. Gaze upon that glaze, just coating it all thick and sugary. Break it open to see that beautiful soft and fluffy interior just bursting with bits of apples and cinnamon everywhere all folded up on itself. The glaze is seeping into every pore in layers of fritter perfection. If you love apple fritters as much as I love apple fritters, then you need to check out Donut Palace because they don't fool around with their fritters.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. Make sure to click that like and subscribe button down below so you don't miss another donut destination. I've got a couple more highlight videos scheduled for the next few weeks to finish off the series, so don't miss another episode of the STL Donut Tour, where I'm looking for the gateway to the West through fried dough. Have a great day, everyone.